Hey guys, welcome to the Mythic Tavern and welcome to the tour guide of City of Threats featuring me and Towellie. So this actually kind of happened on accident. Towellie was streaming on his stream and he was running a shaman and he wanted to try out the new DPS stuff on the hero talents. You know, for those who do not know, Towellie normally tanks and I do tank as well normally. And I was like, hey, you want me to tank for you? We can just do this real quick, you can test out your stuff or whatever. And he's like, yeah, sure, you know, let's go. All we need is a tank for the queue. And yeah, so I came in there on my Dark Iron Dwarf on War with an Alpha and we started going off. So I'm gonna play the video, guys. You're gonna hear a little bit of Tallie's voice in there. It's pretty funny, good dialogue. So enjoy the video. And yes, I will be doing a voiceover as well over the bosses and the dungeon as usual, guys. Thank you so much, and without further ado, here we go.
We're gonna be on a YouTube video. In that case, did you know you can get 20% off on Manscaped with code Towellie? Just saying. That's a great deal. I agree.
Alright, with Towellie's shenanigans out of the way here, we are going to be doing the first poll, which are these two Nerubians. They don't really do much. Honestly, when we ran this earlier today or whenever, the dungeon felt very, very undertuned. And I don't know if it's just because it's buggy, or if it's because, you know, it's for testing purposes or whatnot, or if it's a scaling problem. But yeah, the dungeons felt very, very easy. Even when you grab a lot of mobs and the bosses themselves kind of fall over. Granted, maybe we just have really good players, or it's just probably a combination of things. But basically, for the most part, the beginning of the dungeon is pretty linear. You kind of do these first two pulls here. There's not really much else to it. And yeah, you know, Towellie's trying out the Stormbringer hero talents on the Shaman. I don't know nothing about Shaman, so don't even ask me about that in the comments. But I'm playing as a Mountain Thane, Dark Iron Dwarf, and so this big guy actually, he does this random, he's gonna point in a random direction, try to do an Earth Shatter that you have to avoid. It's in a cone form, so yeah, it's pretty easy, but I'd imagine on Fortified this probably be a little bit more difficult or whatnot. But you know, here, as you guys can see, these mobs just fall over like super easy. Yeah, so yeah, so these big royal guards here, they always come in with the packs of those 4 little beetles as well. He kind of looks like a new Barak from the Lich King, if you guys remember that boss. You know, this whole dungeon, both City of Echoes and City of Threads, remind me a lot of the Old Kingdom from Wrath of the Lich King. And you know, at first I kind of, back then, kind of hated the dungeon. I'm not really a big fan of insects, but for some reason over time, that dungeon grew on me. And you know what, I actually like these too. There is one really interesting, unique thing about this dungeon, is that it's kind of like the new version of Court of Stars. And you'll see what I mean by that when we get there. But so this Herald of Ansarak is just another named mob. It's not really a boss or anything like that. These ones are a little bit nastier. They do a lot of different spells. They leave these puddles on the floor that I believe you have to avoid. Yeah, see, there you go. But he kind of died so quick that you kind of... it's a little bit hard to see everything because the puddles disappear after that. But yeah, I'd imagine on Fortified Mythic Plus, this place will be, you're gonna have to be very careful. Thankfully, there's not really a lot of, like, mob densities, kind of decent, I would say. But there's definitely a lot of stuff that you can skip, but you don't really need to fight later on, and you'll see what I mean by that. But yeah, for the most part, you just kind of choose a path. I think both of the paths lead to the same place, or to the same boss. I think you can go left or right here, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, see, there's mobs on the left, for example. You can completely avoid that and just go to the pack on the right. So these over there, right here, you have to pull these together. So this is probably more of a nastier pull here, obviously. At least it will be on Fortified. And seeing right there, that guy left a puddle on there. Now this guy's Earth Shattering. You probably definitely want to interrupt the caster at all times. Spell Reflect, whatever. And you know, I don't think you can CC them. and you just want to kind of nuke them down because they're kind of rough. Well, they will be rough on Mythic Plus, obviously. And then you just want to, you know, honestly, if you're running this on Mythic Plus, you probably want to grab those beetles as well with that pack, because the beetles don't really do much. You know, they're not even elites, they're just like little minions. So yeah, pretty easy to kill them. But you know what, first time I ran this dungeon, I didn't like it. Second time I ran it, I liked it more. The third time I ran it, I kind of enjoyed it. So I think it's a, okay, so here's the first boss. So this boss, you have to fight in a circle. If you go outside the circle, she's gonna pull you in. Now, unfortunately, she does this one move where we didn't really get to see it because we killed her so fast. She's gonna randomly turn here, do this void beam thing. You just gotta avoid it. It's very easy, just kind of strafe it. But you gotta make sure you're always in a circle. And eventually, she's gonna do this. When she gets a hard energy, she's gonna do this pulsating thing that the healer's gonna have to heal through. So this is probably, you know, on Tyrannical, is gonna be rough. See, I tried to run away from there. Pull me back in anyway. Yeah, and there you go. See that big void thing that was happening? The group is gonna have to move together on the edge of the circle to get out of it. So you're gonna need a lot of coordination. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see all of it because the boss died so fast. But that's kind of like the main core mechanic, and that's gonna be repeating on Tyrannical. So on this dungeon, what I like about it is that even though it's kind of I think it's kind of outdoors. It is an outdoor dungeon. You can mount up here, which is really nice. And this is the part where I was kind of talking about Court of Stars. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna fight this mob. You're not gonna kill it. You're gonna get it about halfway of this mob, and it's gonna turn friendly, because this mob actually is a traitor to the Nerubians. They're kind of like against the Nerubians or whatever. Like they're like the good Nerubians. So they give you this buff, and you have to follow these shades here that will lead you to spies. Thankfully, you don't have to click on anything. You just have to attack the spy that's highlighted. The first spy is always the same, and you have to find a total of 4 of them. Once you find a total of 4 of them and kill them all, you then have to go to an NPC and start an RP. And eventually, when they get to low health, they will do this portal move where they go into the portal, then they come out of the portal and do a lot of damage. You gotta avoid that blue beam. But yeah, so that's the first pack. You also want to avoid these guys with eyesights, because if you aggro them, that's just gonna be a pain in the ass to deal with. And yeah, you just kind of have to go around. I'm not sure exactly if all of the mobs are always in the same place. But you never want to spread your party. You want to be together, because these mobs are tough to actually kill. Like, these mobs are actually a little bit more difficult. They seemed a little bit more, you know, properly tuned, I guess you could say. So you just kind of follow the shades. Yeah, I think this dungeon is specifically going to be more of a little bit of a puck killer, because you know, you're always gonna have that one guy that's running and following the group, but he runs into the watch group and then aggro's the entire thing. You know that's just gonna bound to happen in a pug. So yeah, so that was the second kill. You do not go up the stairs yet. You go up the stairs later. But yeah, you just kind of go around, wait for the shades to show up. Well, don't wait for them. You have to actually find them and then follow them. They will never not show up, you know, for no reason. If they show up, that means there's a reason, and it's someone you haven't killed yet. So if you see them popping up, you always want to go follow them. After you kill the original ones or whatever, the old ones disappear. So it's not like you have to run in circles. You know, at first it was kind of confusing, but then after a few runs, we kind of figured it out. But yeah, this was a pretty solid run. This dungeon was actually really bugged when it came out. You couldn't even actually start the last boss. Like, it would get buggy. Like, it wouldn't spawn for some reason, and yeah, it was weird. But thankfully in this video we did the whole thing. Yeah, and over here you look at these mobs. They're getting really close, so we gotta move. So yeah, this is probably like the toughest part of the dungeon as far as movement goes, or mob management, if you want to call it that. But yeah, you know, this guy was lagging behind. I guess he was looking for us, and he came in the last second. So that is the third, I believe. I think we're gonna go look for the fourth now. So yeah, like I said, at first it's a little bit confusing, but thankfully a lot of these mobs are neutral or friendly, and as long as you don't get really near the watch people, the watching guards with eye sights on the top of them, you should be okay. So basically, just go to a place you haven't been yet and look for the shades. And I don't know how we found this one on accident. I think he split. Oh, maybe you do want to split your party. I think the party members split to look for the other one. Oh, yeah, I guess you could do that. You could split people, and then you can just meet up at one of them. Oh, I wonder if that's going to be a thing. I don't know. There's probably going to be some sort of a weak aura or something like that when this comes out and becomes live. But yeah. So over here, I don't know where these mobs came from. Maybe the last pack always has, the last Eye of the Queen has most of them. Okay, so here's the NPC talking Executor. So you got to go to the Executor now to start the RP. He is a friendly, by the way. Yeah, you'll see why or how. Obviously the map is not finished yet because it's alpha, kind of early, but he is marked on the radar, so you can go get him over there and say hello. So you know, some people might not like this for Mythic Plus. I don't really mind it. I mean, I don't really like long RP, but thankfully this is not really long RP. You just kind of what you're probably gonna want to do is probably have the guy already, one of your party members probably already be at the Executor or something like that before you kill the last one. So maybe foreman the last queen and have one person sitting already where he spawns. I don't know if he always spawns there, but I'm assuming he does, because the, you know, RP is usually very predetermined. So you're gonna follow him up the staircase that we passed earlier, and obviously because he's a Nerubian, he's able to open the, you know, the spider web walls for you. And he is a traitor to the queen that you're going to be fighting in the first raid of Season 1 of War Within. So I think from a story perspective, that's pretty cool that you have Nerubians that are against other Nerubians. That kind of gives a hint of possible playable or allied race. Now, I don't know if it's going to be in a spider form, but they do have kind of a humanoid form to them, like these right here. So this is the next boss where he gets caught by these two assassins. And, you know, they're like, oh, you're a traitor, you know, this and that. We're gonna, you know, let the queen know and that you kind of messed up, right? So I don't know if he dies or not, but basically this is the next boss fight here. You fight him at the same time. They do have a shared health pool, so it doesn't matter who you damage. You definitely want to take the melee one to the ranged one so you can cleave as much as possible. But this boss falls over so fast. Look at him. It's already halfway dead. They fall over so quick that it's kind of like near impossible to even talk about the mechanics here. Obviously, you want to get out of that big purple circle. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to it. Yeah, so that's kind of it here. But, yeah, I think I do get a piece of loot here. Yeah, I get some pants. Okay, so he does get unfrozen, and then he opens up the next pathway for you. Pretty cool. You gotta wait a little bit, thankfully not long. And like I said, this is an outdoor instance, so you're able to mount up. So over here, as soon as the bridge opens up for you, these guys are gonna run down, so you definitely want to just kill them, and whatnot. But yeah, pretty easy. You could probably pull even more packs here, but again, this is so easy. And it's a normal difficulty, so it's really hard to tell how much you're going to be able to pull here. But you don't need to clear all of this. You only need to clear the way to the staircase, which is just this. I don't believe I grabbed anything else in here. I don't know how much you're going to need on Mythic Plus. Maybe you'll need more. But again, Mythic Plus is not available for testing, so there's that. But yeah, you know, yeah, nothing too crazy. But, you know, some people might not like this dungeon because of the aesthetics, but I don't mind it. I kind of like it. It's been a while since we had a spider dedicated dungeon. To be honest, I don't think we had a spider one since, like, Lich King days. So it's kind of, you know, a breath of fresh air, I guess you could say. So you just go up the staircase here on the edge on the left and just grab mobs and kill them. Again, nothing too fancy. I could have probably pulled them into this pack, honestly, and killed them together, but who cares? Yeah, if you want to kind of be optimized, right? So, again, this is a big dude that doesn't really do much here. Because, as you can see, guys, the health goes down so quick. It does this, like, poison rain thingy that you can just avoid. Just avoid the green puddles. Pretty easy, nothing crazy. So, this is the second room that we enter in here, in this dungeon. Now, in the room below, in the balcony below, is the next boss. But over here, what you want to do is you want to grab these kind of individually, or two of them together if you can. Like if you're that thing, you can grip them. But basically, you do not want to fight here because you see that move that he's doing right now. If you were in that swirly, he would push you into the eggs, and the eggs would pop, and you have to fight more elite mobs. So you just kind of want to avoid fighting them, or you know, because it's so undertuned, you can kind of easily kill them. But yeah, just try fighting them on like basic ground where there's no eggs to get knocked into. Unstable test subject. So I guess this queen here is capturing people and running tests on them and experiments for her army, which is a you know, kind of typical plotline, right? So over here we're gonna go downstairs. There's gonna be a bunch of blobs that you kill. As soon as you gotta kill all of them here. It's mandatory. That way the boss spawns. This boss, probably out of all of them, is, in my opinion, is the most boring one in this dungeon. All it really is just a basic giant blue slime. I don't really like his model. Nothing really unique about it. It's just a Coaglamation or whatever, however you pronounce it. I can't really say it properly because I'm not, you know, born in America or whatnot. But yeah, so this thing is about to spawn after you kill these mobs, and yeah, it's just a big pile of goo or whatever, a big humanoid goo, kind of like the one in Plague. What was that? That dungeon in Plague something in Shadowlands. But yeah, it's pretty easy. So I don't know where the mobs came from, but basically he's gonna do like a knockback. And what you want to do for this boss, eventually these orbs are gonna come in, and they're gonna heal him. You need to absorb those orbs and make sure they don't get to him. So yeah, that's kind of like what it is. You get an absorb shield heal thing on your party when you pick them up, or on the individuals. And then there's gonna be like white stuff popping up, so you just gotta avoid things. On Tyrannical is like, again, like these normal dungeon runs are really boring when it comes to bosses specifically, because they're just so easy. So the real tuning is not gonna come in until you obviously do end-game content and until that is being tested. I would imagine a lot of these bosses on Tyrannical are gonna be pretty fun. I just don't like this boss because I think he looks boring and stupid. So then you're gonna come up here, and now you're gonna enter into the final boss room. And basically what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a little bit of RP, but it's pretty quickly, thankfully. But this is where the bug actually happened last time. These bosses would not activate, or these mini bosses, I should say. So first one is gonna activate on the left, and then the other one should activate on the right. I don't know if eventually they'll have them where they're both activated at the same time, or if they're supposed to be activated at the same time and they're not being activated at the same time because it's a bug. I don't know that, right? So yeah, but there goes the second one, so you can grab the second one. You got the caster and the melee one, and then after you kill both of them, the boss is gonna come down from the back of the wall over there. You can't really see it here, but yeah, I mean, this guy's pretty easy to avoid. And then as soon as you kill him, there's almost no wait. She comes down pretty much immediately, I think. Yeah, so there she is already. So yeah, you grab her. That's their humanoid form. So I would imagine if you did have a playable race, it would look like that. Maybe where you can transform into a spider, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe the combat form is a spider form, or you could combat in both. But yeah, so these orbs are gonna spawn. What's gonna happen is these orbs are gonna merge. You obviously want to get away from where they're merging, and then she's gonna go take the forms of the ads that you've killed. So she did like the melee form, so she got the melee abilities, and then now it's gonna be the caster one, I think, and that's probably about it. I mean, again, we popped hero here, so she's kind of going down pretty quickly, and yeah. And then there I kind of totally ate an orb, and now there's a caster, and yeah, it's rinse and repeat. Again, it's hard to tell how hard these bosses are, but that is City of Threads with Towellie. I hope you guys enjoyed this tour guide. Thank you, Towellie, for running with me. If you watch this, thank you guys for checking this out. Thank you for the participation. It was fun thanking for you guys. And if you guys have any comments or questions, let me know in the comments. I will gladly answer any of them if I'm able to. But yeah, guys, peace out and have a good one until the next video. Peace.